Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, or welcome to my channel. I'm Dollywood Enthusiast, and let's get straight into this review. Mystery Mine, located at Dollywood in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, is a Gerstlauer Eurofighter. So let's get straight into Mystery Mine's top speed is 43.5 miles per hour. It has two inversions and its max height is 85 1/3 feet. Other facts about Mystery Mine is it has 1,804 feet of track and has a duration of 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And the main drop on Mystery Mine has a vertical angle of 95 degrees, which means you go beyond vertical on this ride, which could catch a lot of people off guard. Before we get into the layout and details, let's talk about what happened in the 2020 and 2021 season. Mystery Mine underwent through some changes, like the first lift hill was alterated, and after you do the little hops of the first lift hill, instead of all going straight down into a wave turn, you drop down through a turn, which I'm pretty happy about because that part was really rough whenever you went through the wave turn. So now, the train arrangements. The trains are 7 cars, and riders are arranged 4 across in 2 rows for a total of 8 riders per car, which means 1,000 riders per hour, which is terrible. The lines get so long for this ride to do. It has a really bad capacity, which means you might want to hit this ride first when you get to the park because it's going to have a long ride the entire day. So now let's get into the ride elements. This ride has 2 vertical chain lifts, a heartline roll, which is one of the inversions, and a dive loop, which is the second inversion, but we'll get into those later. But for now, let's talk about what the ride goes through. Okay, so now let's talk about the layout. Here, you drop down into a turn, which brings you to the first vertical lift hill. So obviously you have to stop so the chain lift can start moving, so the people that work on the ride know when the trains are gone. So that's why you have to wait at the block breaks, which is pretty annoying. And you can see this theming, like this person was here, and it's just really great. I love the theming that Dollywood puts in all their rides. But yeah, so once we crest over this lift hill, we will drop into a little small drop into a little bit of these bunny hills you see here. And then what I was talking about in the beginning with the layout was changed. Here was where you drop down into that wave turn, but instead you go down here and go down like a 73.5 degree drop into a turn into a block brakes, which will then help other trains get to the lift hill, so that capacity would be a little bit faster, even though it's not. So now we drop down into a turn and into some more hills under the attraction, and then we go in here, and this leads into the last vertical lift hill. So here your stops for a little bit in the pitch black, so the chain lift will start moving. But then once we get here, and then we start going up the lift hill, there's this projector above that shows this thing falling over onto you. And then there's a sign that says beware of mine, even though that doesn't really work. And there's a lightning and storm, and you can see the eyes of crows just watching you. But then once you crest over here, you go into the 95.5 degree drop. And then that's where you'll go into, after the drop, and then you do that. Then after you drop down, you go into the heartline roll, which then leads into the dive loops, which then leads into the brakes. One more thing before I get into what I rate this in the park, I want to talk about this amazing crow. It literally makes all these stories, and it's just hilarious listening to all the stuff that it says. But yeah, so now let's get into what I think it is out of the rest of the park. Let's conclude my final thoughts. This ride isn't really incredible. It's kind of janky, and it's kind of rough, but after they did the changements with that 90 degree turn up into the brakes, I'm glad they changed that, because that was really rough and janky, and it was just this part just meanders around a bit, but I still like it. It's not pretty high in the Dollywood rankings. I would say there are definitely better rides in the park than this. But I'm so happy Dollywood was able to go through with these advancements and just change it up so it's a pretty smooth ride. After all, I will give this ride about a 7.5 out of 10. It's not really good, but it's not really bad. And I can say that the theming makes up for the rest of this. I love how it's the in-between coaster before you go into the really big looping coasters. Well, inverting coaster, I don't know what you want to say. But it's just not really that bad, but it is pretty janky and meanders a bit. But yeah, so before they did the advancements, I'll make it a 0 out of 10. I hated this ride before they changed it. But now that they changed it, I love how they changed it. And yeah, it's not really a bad ride. I would just say If you have a really bad body, just don't ride it. It might hurt. But yeah, have a good day, y'all.